Let me ask you a question. How do you manage a gathering which is bigger than the population of United States in a city which is smaller than the size of Mumbai? Any answers for it? You possibly can't. You just pray and you deploy 50,000 police officers and give it under the control of UP police. So this is just an idea of. Let me take you to the nitty-gritties of it. An average daily footfall at Kumbh was 14.7 million, and the peak day Mauni Amavasya footfall was 76.4 million, which is bigger than the population of several countries put together. And on the slide, you can see that it has been compared with some of the global events. In Paris Olympics, there are 15 million people estimated over 2 weeks. In the FIFA World Cup, there are 3.5 million spectators across a month. The Rio Carnival has 7 million people over a week. The Hajj pilgrimage is 2.5 million pilgrims annually. So just compare the peak day Mauni Amavasya traffic, which is 76.4 million, which is astounding. Let me take you through the challenges which we faced. The successful organization of Mahakumbh and managing the safe Snan, the holy tip of 663 million people, was under the constant shadow of terror threats which were looming large. The subversive and the international elements were looking for every opportunity to disrupt this holy event. But the combined teams of the anti-terrorist squads, the traffic management, the river safety and the fire safety, everything put together was excellently managed to the extent that there has been no global precedent of managing such an event with such amount of excellence. This is a bit about the transportation part. The Indian Railways has acted like an ace cricketer. There were 11 centuries, which is struck 11 centuries there. There were 100 special trains on 11 different days. And the total trains which were run was 17,330 trains which were run. The road operations, if you talk, there were 33.17 lakh vehicles which had entered the city, the city of Prayagraj, a city which can host barely 25 lakh population, a city which has a 25 lakh population, 33.17 lakh vehicles entered in a span of 45 days. And if you look at the air travel statistics, 5349 flights, which included 5.85 lakh passengers, and an average of 12,000 passengers had entered the city of Prayagraj. So all this huge amount of traffic, whether coming through road, through railways or the flights, it could have been a chaos, it could have led to a chaos in the city. But the AI-powered traffic monitoring, the real-time surveillance, and seamless coordination between different agencies ensured that everything was smoothly run. And I can vouch for it. You would have heard a lot about the traffic hazards of Prayagraj, but it was much, much better managed than so many metropolitan cities of the country. Let me just give you a glimpse of the logistical arrangements. If you can see the entire Prayagraj and the Kumbh Mela area was divided into 10 zones and 25 sectors, and there were 56 temporary police stations, 140 police chowkis, there were 53 fire stations, the exclusively water police stations which are set up in the Sangam, and 700 plus boats, and deep water barricading of 12 kilometers. Why I want you to show this statistics is not to overwhelm you with numbers, but managing the safety and security of 663 million people is not just a game of numbers. What was required and what was done was a seamless inter-agency coordination between between the variety of units, and strict security protocols which were observed on the land, river and fire domains. The pontoon bridges which you would have seen often on television, These are temporary bridges which are erected on the banks of Sangam for crisscross movement of pilgrims, to facilitate the movement of pilgrims, and which are dynamic in nature. It depends on the emergencies and the contingencies how this entire pontoon bridge movement is operated, which to a layman seems a very casual thing, but there is a science behind the movement of even the movement of pilgrims on the pontoon bridges, which is being monitored at an integrated command and control center, and there is a crowd density alert which comes from the AI-based cameras, which becomes the basis for regulation of the traffic on the pontoon bridges. All of you would agree that security is a major concern, and our motto was Divya Bhav and a Surakshit Kumbh. So to ensure Surakshit Kumbh, what we needed was a very, very ironclad security infrastructure. I'm so sorry. An ironclad security infrastructure, and there was a 7-layer of security network, a grid which was created, where you can see the first layer of security was at the point of origin, from wherever the pilgrims started in the country. The second was at the state border. The third was at the Prayagraj zone border. The fourth was at the Prayagraj commissionerate border. The fifth was at the Mela outer cordon. Then you have the inner cordon, so on and so forth. So what seems to have been done over this period of 45 days is a result of such an intricate web of security arrangements which has no parallel anywhere in the world. The QRTs and the quick reaction team and the emergency response teams, they were positioned strategically to neutralize any kind of terror threat. The specialized elite units of anti-terrorist squad, the NSG and the CAPFs, they were constantly strategically keeping a watch on the anti-national elements, and the bomb disposal squads and the anti-mine squads. They were regularly conducting sweep and swipe operations across the Mela area to keep it free from any kind of IEDs. And there were 4,500 locations which are geomapped for 24/7 monitoring. AI is the buzzword, and police in the Kumbh Mela police, the Uttar Pradesh police has made a very efficient use of artificial intelligence in organizing this whole event. There were 2,750 AI-powered cameras which were giving real-time, which were giving real-time feeds. And the AI-powered cameras at the Sangam Ghats, they were positioned in a way their live feeds were coming to the integrated command and control center, which were enabling us to take real-time decisions of the traffic diversions which were to be in place, the emergency schemes which were to be placed. And they were also flagging any kind of suspicious human activity. They were not only for crowd regulation, but the AI-powered cameras were also having human behavioral analytics, so that any kind of suspicious human activity could be instantly flagged and remedial action could be taken. There were automatic number plate recognition cameras which was used, which were to detect and flag us of the entry of any kind of unauthorized vehicle intrusion, which can be a source of any kind of catastrophic incident. There were, for aerial surveillance, we were using tethered drones, which were giving us an elevated surveillance, continuous elevated surveillance over a period of several days, and the live feeds from the tethered drones were enabling us to couple with heat mapping to take real-time decisions at our control room. For neutralizing any kind of underwater subversive activity, you would have not heard of the underwater drones, but we were also using underwater drones for continuous riverbed surveillance to detect any kind of unwarranted activity beneath the surface. There were anti-drone systems which we used, which were to counter any kind of rogue drones for aerial surveillance. And this Kumbh, the Mahakumbh 2025, apart from Divya Bhav Surakshit, it was also a digital Mahakumbh, which means integrating technology in all aspects of public utility. You would heard of the lost and found centers, the digital lost and found centers. There was a popular joke going viral on social media where a person was complaining about the inefficiency of UP police. And he said that I lost my wife thrice in the Kumbh Mela, and this efficient policemen of UP police have handed her back to me every time. So he was very, very disappointed. But jokes apart, this talks about the robust Khoya Paya centers, and another crisis the Khoya Paya centers have done is there's a crisis among the Bollywood script writers because they have always been harping on this lost brothers in Kumbh. So this not only reunited the people, but also this has finished a very popular Bollywood trope of missing brothers. There was this Bhashini app which was helpful in real-time multilingual communication, which was diluting the linguistic barriers, and it was helping pilgrims across the world and pilgrims from across different states of the country to communicate to the authorities and avail of the assistance. There was this Sahayak chatbot. This was provided for AI-powered guidance for direction, emergency services, and any kind of real event tracking if you want to do. So this helped converting every pilgrim's mobile phone into a virtual command center. While pilgrims were taking the holy dip in the Mahakumbh, there were cyber criminals who were fishing for any gullible target. But the vast network of the cyber infrastructure which UP police had created, where 56 dedicated cyber warriors and cyber experts were deployed there, who were continuously patrolling. Not only the police was not only patrolling the roads, but also the digital highway was continuously being patrolled to look for any kind of phishing attempts, to look for any kind of digital payment frauds, and more than 200 handles which were spreading misinformation and fake news and spreading digital panic in Mahakumbh. The FIRs were written against, they were identified, majority of them were taken down, and FIRs were written against a majority of them. There were variable message displays, 40 variable message displays, which were constantly displaying the digital do's and don'ts. There was a dedicated Mahakumbh Cyber Police Station which was set up, which proved to be immensely helpful for the people who were becoming victims of cybercrime. Now, it was very important that every pilgrim who was coming there, he was not only happy, he was not only spiritually satisfied, but also he goes outside the Kumbh, he goes from Kumbh without an ache in his tummy, without a twisted ankle, and without a blurry vision. So just see there at the statistics. Over 2,000 medical personnel deployed, 1,000-bed capacity, 100-bed capacity central hospital, 103 ambulances, there were river ambulances, 1 air ambulance, and so on and so forth. And also the AI-driven translation facility which was given to doctors. So there was pilgrims who were coming from different corners of the world, and language was a big challenge. So this AI-driven translation tools enabled every pilgrim to understand. So when a doctor says that your BP is high, but the blessings are also higher at Mahakumbh, so language was no longer a problem. And over 7 lakh pilgrims received medical care, and over 5 lakh people underwent eye tests, and 3 lakh spectacles were distributed. So even if you could not spot the divinity, at least you could read the road signs very clearly. The Swachh Kumbh was also a major achievement of Mahakumbh 2025. There were 10,200 sanitation workers and 1,800 Ganga Sevaduts deployed. There were superheroes not wearing capes, but wielding broomsticks, and a mission to keep the Mahakumbh area spotlessly clean after the pilgrims took bath. Anyone feeling thirsty had access to water ATMs where you could just swipe, drink, and smile. And there were 20,000 people who were served, because it's very important for a spiritually satisfied people, bhuke pet bhajan na hoye. So these many thousand people were fed daily, who were served meal daily, which could make even one of the biggest grocery stores, at their wit's end. And 1,000 metric tons of rations was provided, which is a huge exercise. Now, it's one thing if we say that we organized, UP Police organized, or the government organized the Mahakumbh successfully, but if you have a third-party audit and from a prestigious institution like IIT Kanpur, the credibility of the entire endeavor is much higher. 81% said that resting areas were available on Mela premise, so that between their dips they could take a nap, which was very essential. 97% of participants confirmed presence of CCTV surveillance cameras in the Mela area. So there is a digital upgrade. The gods are looking, but so are the cameras too. 84% said the number of toilets were adequate. 663 million people. If you can arrange toilet facilities for so many people who are free of constipation also, it deserves a medal and a PhD too. It's no mean exercise. 89.7% of the respondents were aware of availability of healthcare services. स्वास्थ्य बहुत ज़रूरी है, अच्छा स्वास्थ्य बहुत ज़रूरी है. 76.3% identified the lost and found facility. So they don't have to panic if they lose their slippers. 66% expressed satisfaction with help desk service. So this, an independent audit by a prestigious institution. So when faith, has the stamp of science, we think we have done something right. So in nutshell, the phrase exceeding the excess truly captures the essence of what unfolded at Mahakumbh 2025. The world witnessed not only a spectacle of faith, but also it was a spectacle of human excellence. And in doing so, we have truly exceeded the excess for which there is no parallel in the entire world for any police force, for any administration to have organized an event of such global magnitude in a span of 45 days, where people have gone back smiling and they have narrated tales of Surakshit, Swasth, Divya and Bhavya Kumbh. They'll become the global icons, they'll become the cultural ambassadors of India, and it has generated a tremendous soft power for the entire country. Jai Hind.